What's up guys, welcome back to the workshop. In today's episode, I've got a new knife to sharpen for you. This is the Bradford Guardian 3.2. Bradford makes some awesome fixed blades, and more specifically, that Guardian series comes in a variety of sizes. But when it comes to sharpening this knife, the approach is pretty much the same for all of them. I'm gonna show you how to sharpen this knife on the Ken Onion Mark II, the Professional Precision Adjust, and then I'll show you how to maintain it in the field using our Guided Field Sharpener. Before we get started sharpening, it's important to know a couple things about the knife. More specifically, we're talking about what angle it was sharpened to, what material it's made out of, and if there's anything specific about the knife I want to avoid as I'm sharpening so I don't mess it up. For the angle on the Guardian, I know that it was sharpened between 18 and 20 degrees, and I'm going to show you a cool trick to be able to check that when we get into sharpening. As far as the knife steel goes, the Guardian's available at M390, L-Max, CPM 3V, and MagnaCut. Those are all premium steels. They all respond pretty similarly when it comes to sharpening, so nothing too much to worry about there. This will be a good example for all of them. And then I want to check out the anatomy of the knife. Is that sharpening choil going to get in the way as I go to sharpen? Is there anything else I want to be aware of as I'm sharpening that's going to come in contact with an abrasive that I don't want to? Let's tape those spots up and make sure we're good to go before we start sharpening. The first system I'm going to show you how to sharpen this knife on is our Professional Precision Adjust. This system is probably the most beginner friendly in that if you don't know how to sharpen knives, this does a lot of the work for you. It does that by using this rod and clamp. The rod lays down on the knife itself, which creates the angle I want to sharpen to. I can adjust that angle here anywhere between 15 and 30 degrees. Each knife is a little bit different, so we're going to get it close to the angle we want, which is about 20 degrees for this knife specifically. And then I can go in and get even more precise using our digital angle indicator. I turn it on, I set it on the rod, and it's going to give me specifically the angle I have this knife to. And I can dial that in to that 20 degree mark that I want. Before we start sharpening, I want to make sure I'm not going to come in contact with that abrasive on anything I don't want to. This fixed blade's pretty straightforward. The only thing I really need to worry about is this sharpening choil. It looks like it's going to clear just fine. Now I'm ready to get started. I'm trying to match the existing angle on this knife, and Bradford says that they sharpen between 18 and 20 degrees. We're going to put that to the test using the Pro PA and a simple Sharpie. This is called the Sharpie trick. What you're going to do is you're going to use the Sharpie to color in the entire bevel of your knife. Once you've got that colored in, you're going to install the ceramic plate because we're not looking to remove a lot of material here. We just want to erase that Sharpie off the bevel. Lay the abrasive on the knife and make a few light passes. You'll start to notice the marker being removed. What you want to pay attention to is whether it's being removed up towards the shoulder of the bevel or out towards the edge. The goal is even removal, so make adjustments up or down until you're evenly removing that marker all the way across the bevel and you're good to go. And now you'll be able to know the exact angle your knife was sharpened to from the factory. Now that the angle is set, we're ready to start sharpening, and it's time to choose an abrasive. The Pro PA comes with a wide variety of abrasives. Everything you need from repairs to touch-ups. This knife is in good condition from the factory. It's been used minimally, so I'm going to jump in at about an 800 grit and just touch up the edge. The goal when sharpening on any system is to form a burr. A burr forms as you start to remove material, and it pushes some of that metal to the opposite side of your bevel. You can actually feel for this by running your finger down and away, and it will get caught up on that material. That burr forms along the entire edge of the knife. Make sure you have a burr from heel to tip in order to ensure you're actually getting sharp on your knives. No burr, no sharp. Once you've formed a burr on one side of the knife, flip it over and repeat that process on the opposite side. Be sure to remove the same amount of material in order to create even bevels. With the 800 grit abrasive installed, I'll make a few passes from heel to tip and keep making passes until that burr is fully formed. Depending on the blade steel or the condition of your knife, the amount of passes may vary. Just keep making passes until you have that burr all the way across the edge and you'll be good to go. Now flip the knife over and repeat that process on the opposite side. Be sure to remove the same amount of material so you get even bevels as you're sharpening. Once you're satisfied with the work the 800 grit has done, it's time to move on to your ceramic and then on to leather. Progress through these grits to refine the edge to your liking. That's going to do it for sharpening on the Pro PA. To sharpen the Bradford Guardian on one of our powered systems, I'm using the best of the best. This is the Ken Onion Elite Mark II. It comes right out of the box in its original form factor with this cassette installed, When you add the blade grinding attachment, it becomes the Elite, and it's the best powered sharpener we offer. The Ken Onion Elite Mark II is packed with features, and we've made entire videos on how to use this system.
Take my word for it. Let's take a look at the tape.
But I'm gonna go over how to set it up specifically for the Guardian. I'm gonna set the digital speed control to 3. I'll set the angle to 20 degrees, and then I'll select my abrasives. This knife's in pretty good condition, so I don't need to go through them all. I'll start with an X22, go to an X4, and then finish up on the fine micro mesh belt. Powered sharpeners can be a bit intimidating when you first start using them, but I've got a little tip that should help. One thing that I like to do with any knife when I'm sharpening with the KO2 Elite is I install the micro mesh belt and I set the speed down to 1. I turn the machine on and I make a few practice passes. The micro mesh belt is very soft and will remove a minimal amount of material. It's a great way to make passes and not have to worry about hitting a thumb stud or a sharpening choil that you don't want to. Make a few passes and build up your confidence with that knife. When you're ready, install the more aggressive belt and get to sharpening. Now that I'm ready to dive in and start sharpening, I've got my X22 belt installed, and I'm gonna start making passes on one side of the knife. Again, we need to form a burr. So I'm gonna continually make passes until that burr pops on the one side and I can feel for it from heel to tip. Then I'll repeat that same process on the opposite side, making passes to remove the same amount of material for that nice even bevel. Now I'll move on to the X4. The only difference here is I'll make alternating passes to refine that edge down. Once I'm satisfied with that edge finish, I'll move on to the 6,000 grit micro mesh belt for basically a stropping on this knife, leaving it razor sharp. Now that I've shown you how to sharpen the Bradford Guardian at home using a powered and a manual solution, it's important to know how to maintain this knife out in the field. For that, we're gonna use our Guided Field Sharpener. Guided Field Sharpener is a complete kit to keep in your pack. It's got a coarse 320, medium 600 diamond plates, also features a ceramic honing rod and leather. It's everything you need in a sharpener in your pack. And I'm gonna show you how to use it to maintain this Bradford. Knowing what angle your knife was sharpened to makes it a lot easier to maintain when you're out in the field. This knife being sharpened to 20 degrees complements perfectly to the 20-degree angle on my field sharpener. To sharpen out in the field, lay the knife on the angle guide on the 320 grit diamond. Again, we're gonna make passes on one side until we form that burr all the way across the bevel. So keep making passes on one side, and once you have your burr, repeat that process on the opposite side of the knife. Then flip over to the 600 grit, only now you'll make alternating passes to start refining that edge. Once you're satisfied with the 600 grit, move on to the ceramic and finish up on the leather. That's gonna do it for showing you how to sharpen the Bradford Guardian on these 3 systems. To learn more about these sharpening systems, head to our website, worksharptools.com. If you found this video helpful, hit a like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Thanks for watching, guys.